Yo, guys, I hope you're well. So, guys, it's all over the news today about the EU trying to get 90 billion euros to fund the Ukraine war efforts. But out of that 90 billion euros that they have said Ukraine requires to keep afloat for the next couple of years, how much of that 90 billion euros is going to be skimmed off the top by the EU mafia? And yes, they are a mafia. So, guys, we've also got the news about the 2.5 billion euros, I think it's euros, that they're looking to use from Roman Abramovich, who was the former Chelsea owner. I'll bring that up in a moment. But what I'm going to look at first of all, guys, is here with the UK.gov website, we're looking at the policy paper about the UK support to Ukraine fact sheet. So under humanitarian headline, it said they raised over £120 million in humanitarian assistance in the year 24 to 2025. But then scrolling down for military assistance, it says to date, the UK has committed more than £10.8 billion in military support for the Ukraine since the invasion in 2022. And this is more concerning, we will sustain £3 billion a year, so year on year, in military aid until 2030 to 2031, and for as long as it takes. And that was announced after the new Labour government took its position. So we are committed to a minimum of £3 billion each year until, who knows, it could be ad infinitum to pay for the Ukraine war efforts. And then it says we're contributing 2.26 billion to the G7, their extraordinary revenue acceleration loans for the Ukraine. What does that mean? What on earth does that mean? Who is looking at these budgets? Who is auditing these budgets? I don't know. Is it you? Is it me? I don't know. So, guys, in the last point here, it says that the UK therefore expects to provide over £4.5 billion in support of the Ukraine this year. Think about it, £4.5 billion. How could that help the UK citizens if it was used here to help us? We are in a lot of trouble here in the UK. So we are just literally giving away £4.5 billion year on year to this Ukraine effort. And what are we seeing for it? I don't know. Let me know down in the comment section what you think about that. But my point then goes now to Roman Abramovich. So cast your minds back. Roman Abramovich purchased Chelsea in 2003. Chelsea became a powerhouse in football literally straight away. So between 2003 and 2022, when Roman Abramovich was declared a persona non grata, he was declared someone who was a right-hand man of Vladimir Putin. He was welcomed into the fold and, in my eyes, hadn't done anything apart from being a Russian oligarch to arouse any suspicion. And I've even seen online that he talked out against the war with Ukraine. So what concerns me is that I just want to go into my system now. Sorry about this, guys. I just want to check if I can find what I'm looking for, because I've asked some questions. Excuse me here. So I asked the question, why has Roman Abramovich been forced to sell his ownership of Chelsea by the UK government? Is there a shred of evidence that he was doing anything with Russia against the Ukraine? And then I asked, what is the evidence for the UK government to censure Roman Abramovich and force him to sell Chelsea and his UK assets? Because if you think about it, Roman Abramovich is a very rich person. He made a lot of money. He put a lot of investment into Chelsea, employed a lot of people, but then he was coerced and bounced out as a person of, let's say, ill repute with connections to the Kremlin. But I've looked and I've dug and I cannot find any concrete evidence that Roman Abramovich was supporting the Kremlin in anything nefarious towards the Ukraine. And this is the point. They say he had close ties with Vladimir Putin. So what? Lots of people have close ties. Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, Yvette Cooper have close ties to people that we think are not so good. But does that mean that they've done anything to censure them? I don't know. Maybe I'm talking out of turn here, because my problem here, guys, is that if they can do this to Roman Abramovich, bounce him out, coerce him to get out of the UK, take his money, take his wealth, take his assets, what can they do to you and what can they do to myself? So on their word, they could say that we are a person of interest, let's put it that way, person of interest, and they can literally make our lives absolute hell. They can confiscate our assets. They can take away our rights to work, our rights to do anything, our rights to even live as a human being. Look what they did to Nigel Farage in one instance. They refused him a bank account. He had money in a bank account. I think they froze it or they refused him an account. I can't remember the ins and outs of that. But this is what they can do. So they did it with Roman Abramovich, who is an oligarch, a multi-billionaire, etc., etc. And I've heard in the last month or so, he tried to take them to the court to get his money back or to get access to his monies. It's over £2.5 billion. It's a lot of money. He employs a lot of people. A lot of people rely on him and his wage to live their lives. So whether you agree or disagree that Roman Abramovich was a decent and just person, or maybe he wasn't, maybe he isn't, that's not the case. It's that this government has now set a precedent to target you and to target me on their own say-so without a shred of evidence. And this is the point. I've looked, I've asked ChatGPT, I've asked this, I've asked that. Where is the evidence? The evidence is linked, a link to this, a link to that. But when I've dived in, I can't see anything concrete. So guys, think on about what these people are doing. They can do it to someone like Abramovich. What can they do to you or I? So if you are considered to be a dissident, someone who is speaking out against the government, or someone who isn't doing what they want you to be doing, whatever that means, you and I can be targeted and we can be bounced out as quickly as they did to Roman Abramovich. Think on, guys. Let me know in the comment section what you think. So this government, the whole of the EU mafia, they're looking to raise 90 billion. Really? I think they've already, have they confiscated or sanctioned something like, or frozen 200 billion of Russian money? Where's that going to go to? Who's doing the audit trail there? I don't know. If they could do it to Roman Abramovich, they can do it to you, they can do it to me. Think on, guys. Anyway, make certain you look after yourselves, you look after each other, and I will see you at the next one.